How's it going? It is the Boston startup lawyer, James Jones, and I'm here today to talk to you about three key things that I believe a startup needs to do in order to make sure that they are starting off on the right foot. So without further ado, let's just jump right in. Now, number one, the first thing that you need to make sure that you have happen is that you are incorporating your business. What does this mean? Let me give you a real quick breakdown. So incorporating a business means that you are having someone, ideally, file paperwork with typically the Secretary of State's office in the state of Delaware, because that's where most startups are headquartered. I've done a video on that in the past if you want to check it out. But you want to file that paperwork with the Secretary of State's office in Delaware, and this will establish your entity as being a registered corporation within the state. What does that mean? It means that this new entity has come into being, has been created, is now in existence, and you are able to conduct business using it. If you are developing certain products, computer code, creating all sorts of amazing things, it is done now through this company. And in doing those things through the company, it is giving the company value. When the company has value, people invest in it. They want to see it go further. It grows and grows and becomes an amazing, wonderful thing. Now, exactly how does all that stuff happen? Well, the way that happens is through the second thing that you need to have, and that is your post-incorporation paperwork. The post-incorporation paperwork is a set of documents that is designed to get you up and running with all the key things that you need in order to actually run this company and for everything to be functional from day one. Now, what does this document package include? It can have several different things depending on what you choose to do when starting up your company and what future plans you have that you might be preparing for right now. However, just to get the basics out of the way that everybody is going to have, or at least should have, if they are setting up their company from day one, you want to have your first meeting of the board of directors, and typically this is done as just a written consent that a bunch of different things are consented to from day one. For example, the adoption of the bylaws for the company, the declaration of who will be the officers for the company, who's going to be the president, the CEO, the vice president, the treasurer, the secretary, and so forth, other officer roles that you might be creating or needing or using in your company. You also will be authorizing the distribution of shares to the shareholders, who typically on day one are the founders, although sometimes you might have an investor who's right there with you from the very beginning. But generally it's the founders who are going to have stock distributed to them. And you'll authorize the opening of a bank account, the ability to file taxes, the ability to do other various things that a company needs in order to transact business on a regular basis as a normal business would. So then this leads us to another key component that sometimes gets overlooked, but is very important, not just for a functional sense, but also to a lot of investors. And that is to make sure that every founder is on a vesting agreement. And what this means, and I'll explain briefly because I've explained it in the past as well, is that each person is entitled to receive whatever percentage of stock available in the corporation. And instead of getting it all on the first day, they are incentivized to keep working for the company by receiving small amounts of stock at regular intervals. Typically, this is on a monthly basis that they receive a portion of stock, and it is generally measured over the course of 4 years. So monthly, you receive 1/48th of stock every single month for as long as you are actually performing services for the company the way that you said you would. Now, why is this important? Number one, like I said, it incentivizes people to continue actually doing work for the company. And so that way that work will cause the company to grow, to expand, to become bigger, to become more profitable. and to develop the products and services that the company will be providing to the public. Additionally, most investors will require that the founders and generally anyone else on the team who provides very important services to the company, that they are on a vesting schedule to make sure that they are incentivized to stick around after the money has come into the company, that they aren't just going to say, okay, it looks like you guys have, everything sort of worked out. I'm just going to step aside now and I'll let you guys take it over from here. And let me know when it's really successful and we're all rich and I can sell the stock and cash out. This is to prevent that situation from being possible. If you don't work, you don't get your stock. So that way, if someone leaves early, they receive shares based upon the contribution that they made to the growth and development of the company, but they don't get everything. Now, this also leads me to the third suggestion that I have for startups, and that is when you first begin, to sign up for a free account with Carta.com, CARTA.com. I'll leave a link in the description below. This is not sponsored by them. I am not sponsored by them. No one's paying me to say this. It's just that Carta is one of the biggest names in software that is used by startups, that is endorsed and requested by investors. And the reason for this is Carta does an amazing job of keeping track of all the detailed information about who has received stock, when they received it, what their vesting terms are, and on any given day, you can click a button and find out how many shares has vested to any given person in a company, when their vesting will end, and so on and so forth. You also can include information about investors, for people who have provided money to the company, when they provided it, how they provided it, the amount. And that way it makes things super simple when it's time to create a capitalization table when you are talking to new investors. And so that way they can see at a glance who has stock in the company, how much stock is outstanding, how much is left to be distributed, how long have people been vesting, how much longer do they have, and what investors have put money into the company and on what terms. And they will always ask for this. And if you're using Carta and you use it from the beginning, you can input this information very, very easily when it's at the beginning. If you wait a couple of years and try to put in 2 years worth of various people who have come and gone from the company and track down names and addresses and email addresses and the date that they started and the date that they left, and then try to input all that information, it can take hours. Trust me, I've done it before. It's not fun. It is expensive for the company to pay an attorney to track down all of that information and get it set up in Carta when you're on the hook for it, when an investor says, I need everything set up so that you can show me it all. So much easier to do it right from the beginning. They give you a free account where you can have up to 25 shareholders, which is more than enough to carry most founders all the way up to their first investment. And once you get the first investment, you can start paying for the paid plan, where you can now start tracking investments, and you can make predictions based upon what an investor is offering. You can see how that's going to affect your dilution in the company and all sorts of other things and services that they offer. So that is my tip that I provide to every startup that is just starting out. Get your Carta account set up right from day one. Super easy to input all the information. And then all you have to do is just keep it up to date from that point on, and make sure that you are keeping it updated every time you bring someone into the company, every time someone leaves the company. Just put the date in, put the information in, and Carta does the rest. It does all the work for you. So that way you don't have to worry about, oh, I didn't remember how to calculate this. I don't know the date that was, and do I do it based on 30 days? No, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Let the software do what it was designed to do. And like I said, it's free for your first 25 shareholders. So if this was helpful to you, please like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what else you want to learn about these topics. I'm happy to make more videos. I know I've been gone for a little while, but I'm back now. And I plan on continuing to make videos to provide you with great content and great information to help you along the startup journey. So until next time, take care.